Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
To the second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Board with us
at Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
What's going on? It is Monday, March 10th, 2025. I am Jimmy here with Chris and Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this beautiful Monday evening. Time has shifted forward a little bit here with the daylight savings time. It was an absolute perfect day. It's starting to get warm, starting to get sunny. The sun's out later, and racing season is really starting to kick into gear. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to go over Lincoln from yesterday. We're going to go over the World of Outlaws 2 events from this past weekend, and then we got a pretty big week, probably the first big week in terms of amount of races around the country here for sprint cars. So we're going to talk about that and whatever else you guys want to talk about. We see you guys in the chat. Matt, James, Santos, Randy, Mandy, Jennifer, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are always here on Mondays. We really appreciate it. Everybody else that tunes in after, we appreciate you guys too. Chris, Jay-Z, how you guys doing on this lovely Monday evening?
Doing good. Can't complain here. Turn the clocks forward. Whatever.
We can't hear you. You're muted.
Now am I?
Yeah,
Oh,
now you're good.
oh,
we got
here.
you.
Hey, first time, guys. My bad. Listen, got to see a race this weekend. It's never a bad weekend to see that when a race happens. So, happy to be here tonight. Talk about it. See what all the fans have to say.
I like Jack. What's up, Jack? Jack says Chris looks like a Walmart Jake Gyllenhaal in Jarhead.
Gyllenhaal, first of all. Second of all, fuck you, Jack. How about
that? Let's go into the weekend recap here. Yeah. We're gonna go right into it. Let's get right into Lincoln yesterday. Danny Dietrich pulls out the win. Same top 3 as Icebreaker, just a little bit of a different order. Danny Dietrich gets the win this time over Chase Dietz and Tro Wagaman. Tyler Ross 4th, Matt Campbell 5th. Heat race winners Danny, Troy, and Brock Zierfoss. And your hard charger going from 20th to 6th to Aaron Bollinger. Chris, Jay-Z, you guys were both at Lincoln yesterday. Tell us what you saw.
Go ahead, Chris.
I mean,
Yeah, since you actually went to a race. How about that?
fuck you, Jimmy. No,
You get first chance. You were there.
it
I'm
was good.
gonna,
Yeah, the Heats. It's a day race at Lincoln, right? So, I watched the Heats from the infield, and there's some guys made some moves, but you get to the feature, it started rubbering up 1 and 2 pretty bad. Ended up with Jordan Givler and those guys, and 1 and 2, you saw it. You could see it coming. Chase made the move to get the lead around Troy. And Danny just hugged that bottom, and that rubber came in. And as Danny said in victory lane, he was glad he didn't lead earlier because he was in the right spot, right time. Bottom 1 and 2 rubbered up and gave him the run. What are you gonna do? It's daytime racing. The sun's beats on 1 and 2. The wind was blowing that way. I don't know. I had fun all day long beyond heat races. There were some guys that made some moves, tough break, and I kind of want to get to it later, but like Freddie and that. But like, I don't know. JC, what did you see?
I saw Freddie at one point, and he said, "Man, are we ever going to have, a few days without any wind around here?" And I'm like, "No, Fred, we're not." So, he was dealt a tough hand, and he's the best in the business. We
Yeah.
know that. Been for a long time at that place. He knows it inside and out, and he did what he could with what he had. Those heats weren't going to be good. I don't know if even if the heats were. If he put a ton of water on it and made it really fast and heavy, it would have still not been a lot of passing. I don't know if you could have gotten it right for the heats. Went out, did a little work for the feature, and what we saw in the feature, I saw cars running the top and bottom of 1 and 2. I saw cars running slider line, top and bottom of 3 and 4. I don't know if you could ask for a whole lot more. You saw Aaron Bollinger come out of the B to 6th. I saw Dylan Norris come out of the B to 9th. I saw guys passing cars, guys making moves. I saw 3 different leaders. I really can't complain. Like, we really can't complain about it, right? I think it ended up being about as good as we could hope for probably as pessimistic as people were about the heat races, where the legends might have been as fast as the 410s in their heats. Like, they were crawling, right? Because you had to hit the bottom, you had to stay on the bottom, and you had to play defense. It wasn't great, but that's kind of what this early season stuff is about. We got to see a race, and you got to, it is what it is. But as usual at Lincoln Speedway, the feature was the best part of the night. So I can't complain about that at all.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like you saw Troy started the pole, Troy Bogman. Looked good. Hit some cautions. Chase Dees gets around him. Chase started 4th? I was like, here we go. That over prediction looked good. And then Danny just kept hugging that inside rail. And it wasn't the best line, but it was good enough. And when that rubber started forming 1 and 2, you could see it. You could see him just grip up and go. And a few cautions probably worked out in some lap cars, I missed my dump it last week where the Danny fans were crying about lap cars. Well, in this case, kind of helped them because Chase went high to get around them, and that's what gave Danny the run to get on through. That's how he needed it. He's going to win that race. He missed that bottom in 1 and 2. It was over. So
Yeah, you're right. And Danny had the best car. Plain and simple, he had the
absolutely,
best
you can
car
see it.
this
He was
weekend.
there
Like,
all night long.
like kind of flip it to
All
last
day long.
weekend. He had self-admitted, like, "Hey, I didn't have the best car. Chase was better than I was." And it's never fun to lose a race when you're leading the race. When you're a guy who's won a lot of races and you lose a race from the lead, you don't feel great about it in that instant, right? And that's understandable. It's competition, it's racing. But Chase was better that 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, Danny was better. He had the better car. Top or bottom, it didn't matter. He was the best car in the field. And I got to be honest, like, Troy jumped out to the lead there. By the second lap, Chase was on Troy's tail tank and never left it. Chase was really good early. It was gripped up. It was fast. He was running really hard. I think the track came to Danny the way, everything worked out right, and he was the best car through lap traffic or not. He was the best car. So I think it worked out about right. And listen, we have 2 races at Lincoln. Danny has a first and a second. Chase has a first and a second, and Troy has 2 third place finishes. Is this the
Yeah.
theme of the year?
It could
Right?
be. It
Now,
could be.
it won't be. You're gonna have Danny travel a little. You're gonna have Chase doing a little. Obviously, he's gonna be at Port Royal a lot.
Mhm. But
But
I think that third, fourth, fifth, sixth, right there, that group right there is who we're talking about taking that
Right.
next step up, especially at Lincoln this year. Obviously Troy. I mean, he won the title last year, but we were looking for him to maybe do a little bit more. You got Tyler Ross, who's been really, really strong there. He was strong at Iceberg. He was strong last year. Matt Campbell. I know. We have big hopes for, and Aaron Bollinger. I mean, look, if he doesn't have to start from 20th, who knows what happens? So. I
Right.
think those are the guys right there that are going to be the main players, plus Freddie.
I think it perfect time. I had an idea earlier. I don't know what you would call it, like a big overreaction, early season overreaction, and you guys kind of hit on the happy side, but mine was more on a Freddie. Like he got caught and Lucas spun.
Yeah.
Freddie gets flipped again, junks a race car hard. Big junk. Like that car is, I would assume killed. Came past me. I was in the pit grandstand. How far back is too far back? So that's 2 races. Troy finishes third both times. How far
well,
back is too far back for Freddie? Like I don't know.
it's
We're
we
two
over
races in.
do we over? As I said, overreaction segment. Do
Yeah,
we
you're
overreact to
overreacting a little
Freddie?
bit here. Yes,
Freddie,
overreact.
hey,
too
new car,
yeah.
new team.
Because
Overreact. Like, yeah, bad luck. He's back there.
yeah, but you never know because Troy can have a bad pill draw here at one day and have to get a couple back teen
Yes,
finishes
say
too.
that. But Jay Z, we talked on the way in. How many more pill draw shows we have? What next week?
Yeah, but listen, I've seen Troy had a bad draw in time trials and have to run a B in time trials, or
Right.
some of these handicap shows running a B because you can't pass anybody in the heat, and that's
Right.
just the way the weeks go. It doesn't take a lot for this to go. Hey, he gets a 15th to 18th, 20th place run. Could get caught up in something. He had some wrecks last year too, a little bit, tore up some stuff. It happens quick. It's been 2 races. They have, I think, 27 scheduled for 10 races. Like
Something like that. Yeah.
they're not going to get them all in, obviously, but that's still a lot of racing left. So yeah, you're definitely overreacting. But it's never an overreaction when your car gets torn up on week 2, like bad.
No.
So
And
And
definitely
like Tyler
Freddie-
says here,
Freddie got dunked.
they're going handicapping here next week. So with Freddie having a poor start, he might benefit from that handicap.
yeah, it won't let it doesn't take long to flip that around and get a win and then be
not.
back where you're going to be in points quick. So
Right. There were 5 yellows, 2 of them reds, really. 3 yellows and 2 reds. One coming after the checkered. But yeah, Jordan Givler spin early, like lap 3 or 4. There was a red flag, like you were talking about. Big pile up between Freddie Raymer, Brandon Raymer, JJ Loss.
JJ
I think
Loss.
Lucas Wolf was also involved.
So I was actually watching. Lucas Wolf spun first. Just kind of
Yeah.
spun. He did a very similar spin to Jordan Givler. I don't know what caused either one of those, but very similar, right? Spun around, middle of the pack, and unfortunately for Lucas, there was nowhere for Freddie and the other guys to go. They hit him. Freddie flipped pretty good. They hooked up and he flipped hard. And Brandon Raymer got tied up on the inside fence with JJ Loss. And Freddie's car came past me. The whole front end was knocked out of it. The whole front part of the frame was bent. That was a hard flip for Freddie on a crash. It didn't look like it was gonna be that serious. It was just one of those bad deals, wrong place, wrong time. Jordan Givler spun 2-3 laps earlier. Very similar situation. They all missed him.
And then you had Justin Whittle also spin in that same area later on.
He spun turn 4 and he
Or
just
turn 4,
parked
you're
out.
right.
Yeah,
and then
that was about.
He flipped after the checkered and turn 2.
Well, kind of.
Yeah. No,
He hadn't taken the checkers yet. Danny did, but he was coming around for his to come to the checkers.
But it was still after the
Yeah,
checkers.
we're gonna bookmark that one for later because that's an interesting thing.
And then Brock Zierfoss, who was running 4th, 5th for most of this race, with about 5 or 6 laps to go, he has to pull off and had a mechanical failure, which is unfortunate. His first time out in that 8 car. the Eichelberger 8, looked good. I mean, he won a heat race. He ran up in the top 5, and then unfortunate mechanical issues. You're gonna see that here and there, but unfortunate to take away from a good win because he was probably gonna mix it up there with Troy a little bit.
Yeah, he was definitely catching up. Did he start 8th, Jimmy? I don't quite remember. He was in the
Started
redraw
6th.
for sure. He got the 4th, and he was right there hanging with the Troys in that gang. He was catching them actually, and then yeah, just kind of day ended.
Another person that you don't see necessarily on this list, but was there after a hard flip in Heat 2 was Jacob Allen. Um, did you guys happen to catch that wreck?
I I personally saw. I was in turn somewhere close to turn 2. I saw him go into the corner. Saw him start flipping, and I could see his wing over the concession stand. So that's how high he was. Um,
So
I did watch it on flow, and it looks
for,
like he came up and kind of just hopped the wheels and whatever.
it was, I think it was just a product of what we started seeing in the heat races. They ran 2 legend heat races first. It was very windy, and everybody was just diving to that bottom in the heat races. Like the first heat race wasn't bad. You had some people up top, but it was mostly just bottom, 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 bottom. And he had a restart there, and everybody's just fighting for the bottom, and you get checked up in the back of the pack, and Jacob comes up a little bit. I think he hit Dylan Norris and ended up going for a ride. So, but that was the thing with the heat races. It was kind of tough to pass in the heat races, and that's why, like you were saying, Jay Z, it was kind of you're a little pessimistic going into the feature because what we saw in the heat races, it's like, man, if it's already rubbering already, or if it's going to be that bottom dominant, who knows? But then the sun starts going down. They did some track prep, and it was a little bit racier than what I thought in the feature. I got to give him a hand on that. 3 and 4, you could still run the top and the bottom, but really towards the end of that feature, it was really just the bottom that you could run in 1 and 2.
Yeah, 3 and 4 was kinda unique. I haven't seen it the way it developed and the way the cars were running this sorta, like, shallow slider. It was really neat. Even in clean air, like, the leaders would kinda dive in sorta toward the bottom and kinda run like a self slider. It was you don't see that very often at Lincoln. Usually, it's like you're either up there or you're down there. Sometimes you get a cut down across, like, up front, you'll get some guys cutting down, but it was a really unique line they were running, at the beginning of that feature. It's kinda interesting, like, kinda like, at hard entry, slow through the middle, and hit the cushion on exit. It was kind of interesting to watch. But yeah, I mean, all things considered, we got to see 30 laps and 3 liters and a lot of passing. So could have been worse. Could have been worse. I've seen worse. So yeah, but a good win for Danny for sure. I know they were happy about that after, a couple weeks ago and some time off to come back and still have the speed you're looking for. Great run. Yeah, Chad Trout, Logan Rumsey, Norris to get into the top 10 there. Some really, really good runs. Billy was happy, didn't pass a ton of cars, but didn't hurt anything, ends up 11th. Um, then, there was a lot of issues basically from kind of 17th on back there. Everybody there had some sort of issue or pulled off. So, but some good runs, the guys we kind of expected, and a couple good surprises there. So Logan Rumsey, 2 weeks, 2 races, a lot of laps under his belt
Mhm.
with the best at Lincoln, continues to show up, and he's gonna be in the mix next bunch of years for sure.
Go through some comments here. Caden says, "How about Chad Trout run this weekend? Very good run for him. Started second, stayed up there." Santos says Brock looked fast in the 8 car debut. I agree. He surprised me a little bit. It's unfortunate that he had the mechanical failure there. Randy says hoping to see Aaron Bollinger get several wins this season, and he's been really really fast there. I mean, I think like I said, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Troy, Tyler Ross, Matt Campbell, Aaron Bollinger, sure. Uh, they're going to be really that. I think that's going to be the main group that you're going to see battling for wins. Also with Freddie, obviously. Freddie had some bad luck here, but I think those are really. I think Tyler Ross is throwing his hat in the ring, and I think those are going to be the 5 guys. And then when Chase and Danny race there, they're going to be obviously in the mix. They're really good, but weekly basis, I think those are your heavy hitters that are going to be fighting for this title, and I see it coming down to the end. Let's see what else. Glad to see Billy Dietrich have a solid race, says Randy Kopp. He had a very good run. He was actually running
He ran decent.
If the ticker was right, he was running like 8th or 9th with a couple laps left. I don't know if he fell back a little bit, but he went back to 11th, almost a top 10 run. Good run for him.
And the key was another not bad, but not ideal pill draw. Started 7th in his heat, but drove forward to 5th. It's hard to do that track. I mean, JC and I saw it. It was hard to pass, and he got enough to get himself up in there. And I think he started 17th in the feature. Cars in one piece. That's all you can ask for.
Wait, who started 17th?
I think it was Billy somewhere.
No, he started 13th. I have it right here on the screen. He started
My
13th.
screen has the results. I don't read those things.
I think it's cut off a little bit. You can't see it.
Either way,
Oh,
7th
wait.
and 5th
Oh,
in the
no,
heat.
it is there.
I see
13th
it.
to 11th. Okay, I see it on
It's
the
a
left
new
side. Sorry.
graphics, but 7th and 5th in the heat. Still impressive and car in one piece.
Tyler Koenigs is like Logan Rubsey finishing 8th, solid run. Nate says he said Jacob Allen was high.
Well, I want to say, let's go back to that Jacob Allen deal, and that's unfortunate that he flipped there because that start before that, he made a hell of a move up in the top 4, I think it was.
It's almost like the cars that he passed learned and went, "Oh, I can't let that happen again," and the hole wasn't
what
there.
brought that caution out? What was that? It was something.
Is that the Whitall spin off of 2?
I think so.
Maybe, yeah.
I believe
And
so.
it was a hell of a start for Jacob Allen, and he just racing gets negated by another car, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, that was a hard ride. I know he got checked out after the adrenaline wore off. He went out, got checked out, and he just posted a little bit ago. I think he's gonna be all right. A little sore, but he'll be all right.
Yeah, Mandy said, I saw the clip of Jacob Allen slip on float. Looked rough. Glad he's okay. Daniel Lee says, I seen Jacob's split. He tightly passed a few cars on the inside before caution, just like you guys were saying. Now on a restart, tried to say move. A few guys ahead of him moved down. And he had nowhere to go. And then Matthew Bird, who this is somebody I was going to shout out, who when I started seeing the pill draw come in on my race pass, I'm like, this is a guy that can maybe be a first-time winner here. Dominic Miller, he didn't do bad for just coming out of a 305 last year, says Matthew Bird. Miller's been running a 410 for, I think, a little bit more than a year.
It's his third year. This will be his third or fourth year in a 410 now.
But either way, he started P24, finished 15th, but that doesn't tell the story because he was in that first heat. He started on the pole of the first heat with Danny, and even though Danny took the lead from him, he was right there on his tail tank. He was very racy with them. He was running about almost a half a lane up. He hung with Danny, and then it looked like he had a mechanical issue towards the end and had to pull off, which was unfortunate.
Something happened coming. They were coming, I think, one to go or whatever on the caution. I think after Jacob Allen's deal, or a little bit after that.
He was after it. Yep.
And his car just stopped. He pulled off to the side. You could see him pounding the steering wheel, frustrated. It's unfortunate because he was in the second. That'd be a redraw spot, and who knows where he ends up if he starts in the top, whatever. Obviously, we all were there when he won Clinton County last year. So,
no, Garrett Bart did. He didn't win.
That's right. He should have won because he was coming at him like a spider monkey. But regardless, tough break, and you hate to see it.
Yeah. Randy says he thinks it was a fuel pump for Dominic.
Yeah, I was happy to see him come back out for the B there. I was concerned it was more terminal.
Right.
So I was happy to definitely see him come back out for the B. Not an operation. They can't really. It's hard to lose any equipment race. Theirs is their first race of the year, right? So thankfully, replaceable part, able to come back out and make a day of it. So hopefully, good things ahead for him this season.
And Nate makes a good point there, Jim. If you could bring up exactly what I said, I was actually standing next to Nate, nasty Nate there, next to him whenever we saw Jacob Allen's wing going over the concession stand. It was not ideal for Jacob Allen or anyone involved in that team.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
Let's go to the World of Outlaws, Talladega Short Track on Friday night. Bill Balog getting the win. over David Gravel, Logan Stewart, Cole Macedo, and Carson Macedo to run out the top 5. Bill gets a heat race win, so did David Gravel, Carson Macedo. And David Gravel was quick time in this. Chris Wyndham, 22nd to 16th was your hard charger. Bill came from 4th to win this one, and he looked fast. He was kind of his, from what I saw, it seemed like his advantage was in 3 and 4, where he could run not all the way high, little bit lower than middle, and really get around the cars that were hugging the bottom. And he got out to a lead. He played lap traffic right, and gets himself a win. And you know, not what we were expecting.
Yeah, this was
Yeah, I
fun to
love it
watch,
though.
and it's almost like he kind of took everybody to school early in that feature to get in that position, and it worked out. He held them off getting there, so everybody kind of equalized at the very end. They all went to the bottom. They all had the wing back. They were all doing what they were doing. Logan was the show at the end of this thing, but Bill Baylog kind of took everybody to school and showed them what to do. And when it was good, and then the line went away, he moved down and just held on. So it was pretty cool to see. I don't think there was anybody really upset with this one. And the way gravel looks, you may not get many more chances at seeing other people win
Yeah.
this year.
Jeez.
So this was definitely a feel good win. And man, the story of my early season for me is Logan Schuchart. What a great start to the year for him. Hopefully, there's only 2 drivers that are within the points of 100 points of gravel already. There's only 2, Schuchart and Macedo. Everybody else is 100 plus points behind already. So it could be one of those years we've seen in years past, the Steve Kinzers, the Donnie Schatz for year after year, where it was like by August, we're all like, well, how many will he win? Right. So we'll see. But Logan's been phenomenal to start the year. Hopefully that continues. We've talked about him a lot the last few years, and they made a lot of changes to that program, and really looks like, Kyle Pruitt's got them rolling pretty good right now. So looking forward to see what they can do the rest of the season.
100% agree. As much as I love Bill Baylog personally, it's a personal note, but good for him to beat David Gravel. And then, look at Zach Hampton, and I know we're gonna get to the next screen. Here he goes. What 16th? What is that? Jimmy?
Yeah, that's on the next race.
Finished 14th.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
look
that's
at that.
next
He
one.
finished 14th
but,
here.
but he still
finished
finished 14th. Very, very good
Finishes
run.
14th here, and you go from Volusia where he misses a show, something like that.
Couple
You
times,
see,
yeah.
and they're building, right? We're building, and you love to see that. Like, you expect the David Gravels. Logan Short rebounding is amazing. That's what he should be doing. Cole Macedo's impressive. That 2C,
He did start on the
honestly,
pole this one. He won the dash and started on the pole this one. So
and
he
like,
looked good.
I mean, Cole Macedo, like, when have you seen that 2C in recent memory? Wayne Johnson or otherwise?
That's yeah.
Right. Be competitive. So, like, Cole Macedo is clearly something has changed. Driver, equipment, funding, whatever. Either way,
I think driver. I think he.
and he's an aggressive guy, right? We know
Both Macedos are.
And-
They're aggressive, but I feel
but
like they're cleaning it up.
it's more than that. It's got to be more than that. And it's just maybe just more learning. Maybe Wayne Johnson made the right choice.
Maybe I think it's obvious so far.
Right, but sometimes God has a way, right? Like, he didn't want to make this choice, but like some shit happened.
Yeah,
right?
I get what you're saying.
I mean, you still have Don there in 6. Like, it's impressive seeing Cole Macedo netting that out, Bill Baylog winning, and they preach was like 2,165 days since the last win. This is only his second full-time year. That's kind of cool.
And who did you pick for your favorite for rookie of the year, Chris?
Zach Hampton, baby.
Okay,
Let's get it.
All right, second. I remember it wasn't Cole Macedo like it
It
should
was
have
not
been.
Cole
So
Macedo. I'm not.
I remember.
Look, I'm different, buddy.
Yeah, we know.
Well, we'll call it that.
Hey, little buddy Zach's gonna make me proud. Hopefully.
Well, if he already should have, just take the next race we're about to talk about and be like, okay, he made me proud, because there's a lot of stuff to wreck yet. I mean,
I woke up.
a lot of races.
I woke up Sunday morning and saw it. I'm like, yeah, baby, we're back in it.
Nate says the only person that could beat Gravel this year is David Gravel, and
Seems that way.
yeah, it's looking that way. I it's early though. There's a lot of racing to go on. I still am Very impressed and still on my prediction of Carson Macedo winning this title. But man, David Gravel looks really good to start this season.
David,
The reason Bill Baylog won this race is because he held off David Gravel early on.
Yeah.
If he let David Gravel get around him early on, he's not getting to the front. He held him off, and then he got past Carson Macedo, and then from there he got himself to the lead. David Gravel was on his tail tank at the end. He was coming. He had maybe a lap or two more. Gravel's probably passing him, but Bill did what he needed to early and held Gravel off, and then he continued to work his way to the front.
yeah, I mean, good for Baylog. They've had some bad crashes over Crash Revolution, right? But even back to last year, there's some hard crashes, and I mean, good for him to get a win. Yeah, I do have to agree with Nate that the only way Gravel doesn't win this is if David Gravel doesn't win this.
Good input, man. Thanks, buddy. All right, what else we got?
All right, let's go to the next Saturday night at Magnolia Motor Speedway. This was down in Mississippi. David Gravel, quick time, heat race winner, dash winner, feature winner, swept the night. Was not even close. Sheldon Hansfield also, who finishes Gravel wins. Carson Macedo second. Sheldon Hansfield finishes third, who also won a heat race. Buddy Kofoid, not Buddy Kodoid, Buddy Kofoid, and then Logan Schuchart, your top 5. Austin McCarroll, tough break for him. We're going to talk about this in a second. He finishes 23rd, but he won a heat race. He started 4th. He was up there. Logan Schuchart, this actually ended up being a kind of a good conversation in our Discord, where we actually had a couple people chime in, racers and crew chiefs alike. Logan Schuchart's front wing that came off. Comes off with about 5 to go. I just got abandoned by everybody. Just he held on for 5th. He ended up losing 4th to Buddy Kofoid. He was running 4th at the time, but there was some talk in our Discord about dirty air and all that, and it's like there's only a couple laps, man. You can't really tell from that. But Logan looked good. He held on for dear life there at the end after he got cut off by Carson Macedo, and then I think it was Buddy that ended up taking the rest of it off. Austin McCarroll then runs over that front wing that's on the track after it gets knocked off Logan, cuts a tire, finishes 23rd.
I read this chat we had in this Discord about this topic, and I didn't say a word because everybody's the expert on what a front wing does when you don't have it on a wing sprint car. Everybody knew everything about it in that Discord. It seemed like in reality, nobody in that Discord has driven one like that, and
Right.
it doesn't happen that often. And can you drive the car? Sure. Is Logan Schuchart talented enough to make that work for a few laps? Sure, but it doesn't happen often enough where we're like, yeah, he should have been able to do that. The expectations there's a precedent for this. Fact is, they set the cars up with the wings, and the idea is that they're both there, and the balance of the car is set up to have it. Can it drive without one? Sure. Can it drive without the top one? No. Can it drive without that front one? Clearly, it can at least salvage a top 5 out of this thing. Was it perfect? No. Did he make adjustments on what he thought was best based on the handling of the car? Yeah. So they're the best in the world at what they do. It doesn't surprise me. Was it ideal? No. Did it kill his car and run? No. Good for them. So it's just one of the deals where I can only watch and see what I saw, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
What are we gonna? I don't know.
The argument was more about wicker bills, and it's like, oh, drivers are in their own head if they think there's a big difference between a 1 inch, a 1.5 inch, and a 2 inch wicker bill. Look at what Logan did without a front wing. I'm like, that's a stupid argument. That's nowhere close. That is not. You can't.
Than the top wing.
And it's a bad argument if you're trying to validate that, to say that the wicker bill don't matter, the size of it or whatever. It's a placebo. It's it's a fugazi, whatever you want to call it, when it was 5 laps, there was a single file restart, and Logan fell back. He went back a spot. It's not like he went forward. So I don't know. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I know I was, you know, we were also congratulating Zach on his hard charger. He went 22nd to 7th. He was ripping the bottom from what it looked like. Awesome run by him. It was really, really great. Um, Bill Baylog goes from 2nd to 6th, follows up his win with another really solid finish, and another solid finish from Chris Windham, who finishes 9th. Early in the season, you're starting to see. I really like this World of Outlaw roster. I think you have a lot of diversity between your core guys that are going to compete for the title, and then there is a solid second group. It's starting to develop where anybody has a shot any night. Like, I did not expect Bill Baylog really to win, especially not this early. Um, who's to say any of these other guys can? I expected more from Buddy and Gio, and maybe we will. It's early in the season. Don't get me wrong. This is the first 2 tracks, first 2 races away from Volusia. There's a lot to come. I'm just saying, early on speed, I'm really I'm really impressed with some of these guys.
I can't disagree at all. And Gio's lacking some speed right now, and some of these guys are taking advantage of some of that, right? Where we expected a couple of those guys, like you just talked about, Buddy and Gio. Chris Windham has been a very pleasant surprise. It is a long season. I'm going to hold my judgment until I actually see more.
Yeah.
But it's easier for me to get excited about Bill Baylog because we saw these flashes last year at times. I did. I was a believer. I think I might believe in him more than I saw others, but there were those flashes of like, I know Baylog has the experience. I know he can drive a race car. He just had to put it all together. I don't know if I've seen Chris Windham for any extended period of time in a wing car have success. I need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I know Cole Macedo's potential because we watched him last year in multiple cars run up front with the best of the best. I know it's there. It's all got to come together. But like the Chris Windham thing, like it's a great start. They have to be thrilled with it. Will it last? I need to see it. We all need to see it for longer. And it's exciting. I'm thrilled for them. I'm not like a hater of it, but I got to see more of it for me to go, yeah, I could see that happening in August the same way. I got to see it. Like
Right. I agree.
long term.
I think it's
That
interesting.
kind of answers the question of what Sheep Waffles here says. Expectations for Wyndham after these first few races based off his performance.
I think it's
for me. Saying they don't change for me. I have the same expectations, but I'll hold judgment until I see what I see. Sorry, Chris.
I was kind of gonna piggyback off that. Like, we saw the 7S over the last few years of Crawley and the other guys have flashes, right? Like flashes of good, and they can compete. But we haven't really seen that 7S be good consistently.
Yep.
Since what year for Sides? And I know Nate asked that too. Sides wins the King's Royal. Sides was never a consistent threat. He was just kind of the guy that was there. Circumstances play out and he wins, right? With Crawley, they were there. They showed some speed at times and they didn't. Chris Windham, we've never seen it, right?
Well,
maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe there's
I think towards the
limited time of us seeing him good in a wing car.
Last maybe quarter of last year, you really started seeing some more from him to the point where I think it was one of the last Outlaw races where he was hard charger and he got a top 10 finish.
So, all right. So there's that. So maybe this is just maybe an early, way too early combination of two things coming together at the right time. A program, Jason Sides' program, finally getting to a place where they can be competitive with the right driver, and Chris Windham learning this wing car. And we know Chris Windham is good at driving a wingless sprint car, right? I don't think any one of us would disagree on that. Maybe it's just the perfect time, perfect combination. Maybe there's just something they bring together that they were missing before. I don't know.
I think him bringing that NOS backing with him helps elevate this team a little bit. Maybe it has a little more funding than it has before. I don't know their situation. I'm just speculating. And I think Chris getting more comfortable into I'm not going to say I don't know if he's going to go win a race this year. But if he at the end of the season has 10 top 10s, I think that's a successful season. I would not be surprised.
And
I could see
I
that.
mean,
I'm not expecting this every night. You know what I mean? He's gonna have tracks where he struggles at, but I think the Outlaws go to a lot of these bull rings, and I think that's where he can really
and
not that this was like a bull ring, but you know what I'm saying? Like some of these smaller tracks where maybe that plays into his handle a bit
the,
better than maybe some of these bigger tracks.
the more unique tracks they go to, and I think somebody asked on a few shows ago, does Chris Wyndham win a race this year? And it was kind of a unanimous no. If you're running top 10 night in, night out, the possibility of winning a race greatly increases,
Yeah, for sure. I
right?
don't know if he
'Cause now
does it
you're,
night in, night out, but
I mean,
I
he's close. He's in
mhm.
that so
He's
far
been so
in
far, sure.
this very limited sample size. The 10 to what 17 range, somewhere in there. Like, I don't know. Like
No, that's
if
the
you're
range.
hanging around there, you could, to your point, steal a win at one of these.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't want to call them an odd end place, but like a place that's not your traditional. You're not your Williams Grove, not your Port Royals, not your Lincolns, not your the Hopside. That was the
Hopstad,
one. That was the one that somebody said he would get the win at in that
Tyler
in that
did.
show, if I do
Yep.
remember. Um, but I think even more than that, like they almost go to so many different places. Like you get yourself in the right
Yeah.
situation, and the key to being in a situation is being upfront more times than not. And Bill Baylog, looking back to last year, Baylog had a lot of bad luck, but was also running that right on the fringe or in the top 10 more often than not.
Mhm.
And look at it, it comes together the other night. I could see it. I could see Chris Wyndham and that Jason Sides team getting a win here.
Daniel Lee, real quick, when we were talking about the front wing before, asked Lance Deweese, who won a Grove race in the 69K with a bent, that front wing was completely collapsed. So
Yeah, well,
I
that
was
was
there
I
that
that
was
definitely
night.
remember that.
and that
Yep.
was on
I was in.
purpose. So
I was there. I was on the front stretch watching, and it's a race I will never forget. And you all know who finished second on his tail tank for the last 5 laps, right?
I don't remember. I only
And
remember the
didn't
winner.
force it and didn't wreck each. That didn't wreck them both because of it. It was Greg Hodnett.
Oh, how about that?
how about that? Full circle.
Things you remember, just the random things you remember sometimes.
More from this race, real quick. Emerson Axum was almost. He was another hard charging candidate, 23rd to 11th. Some people have been saying like, "Hey, where's that speed in the 27? Doesn't seem like it's been there." I think it's still there. To give them some time to get it going. Our local guys, Anthony Macri, he was in the dash. Started sixth, fell back to 14th. He really struggled in this feature. Brett Marks fell back a little bit too from 12th to 15th, but both top 15 finishes for them. And where did they finish yesterday? The night before, Brett Marks got an 11th, and Macri finished 17th at Talladega. So decent finishes out on the road. Nothing crazy. But Anthony's obviously probably really disappointed. He had a really good early night run, gets himself into the dash and falls back quite a bit.
So, a little interesting nugget that a buddy of ours actually found and caught. This is still me not paying attention enough, but after sorry, which was the first Talladega?
Yeah.
Brent Marks posted the next day, proud of the Murray Marks team working on a new program, like, and it was kind of like new program, like, oh, new setup theory, new whatever. A buddy of ours, Kyle Keen, noticed he's running an RPM chassis.
Hmm.
Back to RPM that he ran with CJB. He's been with Maxim for a while, for a long time. When he was back in the 19, Kyle picked up there in an RPM, so completely new chassis.
Which could
So
be,
we'll see how that goes.
yeah, that's interesting. New chassis. I wonder why the change. You know what I mean? So it's that would be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Just anything else from the past weekend? Let's look forward to this week. And we got a jam-packed week. Um, weather permitting, of course. Thursday is the opening of the high limit season at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada. You could catch that on Flow Racing. I believe it starts around 8 p.m. Eastern. Excited to see this one kick off. You're going to see, sounds like we know Christopher Bell's going to be in that 69K. And he is the winner of the last 3 Cup races and could have been 4. And he won next to last time he was out in the 69K, the first time he was out in the, was it the first or the second night he was out in the six? He won one of the races in the 69K with only a couple of them in. And man, he's probably we usually talk about Kyle Larson being the hottest driver in the country, but it's probably Christopher Bell right now. And he's gonna go to Vegas here in that 69K, and he's gonna be a threat. Another guy to watch out for. Other than the high limit guys, is I'm guessing Ty Gibbs gonna make his debut potentially. I don't know.
I mean, he needs to do something because that
Chad Boat.
career's
So he was testing the Chad Boat new sprint car. We saw some videos on X about that, and the Chad Boat Industries was tweeting today about them going to Vegas. So I'm only putting two and two together and thinking Ty Gibbs is gonna make a. He's never run sprint cars before, and he's gonna go and run a high limit race. Potentially, not confirmed. I'm just speculating,
I
but
think it is actually CBI put Vegas count something on their socials tonight. They put
yeah,
a countdown to Vegas on their socials. CBI. So there
I'm
aren't midgets
assuming it's
running.
going to be Ty Gibbs.
There are winless cars
mean-
running.
I mean, if you're Ty Gibbs and you're watching Seabell win 3 of the first 4 Cup races after driving a sprint car for 3 nights, why not give it a shot?
Yeah.
This race to me, I'm super intrigued by the entry list as much as the racing because they could have 50 cars, and I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah, no, I could see it
But-
for sure.
Like that's an aggressive number. I think 40 is very achievable, but I'm pushing even further because does Bowman bring a car out? Does
Maybe. Yeah.
Briscoe has a 410? Does he have someone in his car? He owns one. Like, there's a lot of those NASCAR tied people that are fringe, have connections or own cars or going to be in cars or whatever. You could have 10 NASCAR affiliated drivers and teams in there. So plus California people, plus all the high limit guys, plus whoever else wants to just run out to Vegas like the 69K. Who knows? So I'm super intrigued by this. And we're hearing all kinds of other announcements during that around that event relating to high limit in some way. some
JC, can
form.
you
So,
tell us what they aren't?
No, I
I've
only know
confirmed-
one. And
We've
I heard
confirmed
the
what.
one-
I heard Dale Jr.'s buying the series.
No,
that
there's
was fun.
one
I had you going for like 30 seconds that day. I had you going.
JC. No, that's
You
not what I
did.
was talking about. JC, you had one that was shot down in a million pieces, and I think I saw you cry a tear in a way.
I was just listen. I'm not going to cry a tear over it. I literally was guessing, and I'm like, I could make this make sense in my head, right? Like a political conspiracy theory. I could make it make sense what I came up with.
Kind of like how Jimmy convinced himself Dale Jr. was buying the high limit
I
series.
didn't convince.
You were
myself.
damn
I just,
close to bought all the way in.
No, I'm like how so? Like if he is, like I could see him getting involved in some way.
Listen,
Yeah,
Just-
the fact that you went that far, I'm like, nope. I'm like, I'm not engaging in this warfare. I'm out.
I wrote like 4 official guesses out there, and I could make sense of every one of them. I could make sense of each one of them, right? Like that's the wildness of like what this could be. We know one of them is going to be some charter details. That I got kind of confirmation on. They're going to announce some of the charter details. I don't know what it is. I don't know how much in detail they're going. I just know that we're all going to get more info about these charters. I know that. The second one, everyone's being very tight-lipped about, and I don't know what it is. I made one guess at it to someone I would trust with the info, and they were like, "Nope, that's not it." So it's not that. Not that I was hoping for that, but I could see the guess I made happening. But I have other things in mind, and I hope it's not just the Ty Gibbs thing because now we all kind of know. I kind of want this to be a total surprise for most of
Yeah, I
us.
hope
I really
so.
do. We haven't had that lately, right? Where we know an announcement's coming, but in the racing world, very few things are actual secrets. I kind of hope this is. I'm excited for what it could be. I think it's a great kickoff. Great job by High Limit scheduling around the Vegas weekend. Obviously, it's Vegas NASCAR weekend. The NASCAR world seems to be very interested in it. I'm just excited for the whole thing to go off. I'm a fan.
All right, so what's your guess, Jay-Z? What's it going to be?
Oh, my official guess of what it could be now. I was
Officially
locked in on the
unchanged.
one.
Yeah, that one's heartbreaking. But this one, uneducated official guess now, the yellow one's kind of dead.
I mean, I don't
We'll tell
know.
the fans next week what the other one was, but
I mean, I guess I could just say what my dumbass guess was since
Yeah.
it's not true. I
Dale
mean,
Jr. buying it.
no, not that
so
one.
what I
There's
come up
another
with in
one.
my head was, and all the things I've been seeing, right? I've seen Brad Sweet. He owns, helps promote and own a racetrack out west. He was out of I think Skagit, right?
Yep.
Um,
No,
he's doing all these things.
Placerville, right?
Placerville, sorry, does all these things out there on the West Coast, and he's racing full time and he's owning a series full time. Maybe he's announcing it's his farewell tour. That was my thing. Like, hey, he's not like old and over the hill, but maybe he's going to retire, step out of driving. They have someone tabbed for it. He's going to get into the business side and stay there full time, right? So that was my guess. That got shot down. I'm glad he's going to stay around and drive. I assumed that when all the season started, you rarely would say, hey, like Australia, he's racing, other things already this year. You would have already like kind of known that. Silver Dollar. Sorry about that. I get
Yeah.
those
I think he
tracks
does.
confused out there.
I think he's both.
I thought he was
And
with
so my guess
Placerville.
was maybe Brad Sweet. It's his farewell tour starting. So
I think
it's not.
Tenerelli hit. I think Tenerelli hit it on the nose. The announcement is Path Valley got a high limit date.
They're going to start
No.
promoting high limit in Vegas.
That's the
Yeah.
rumor. That's the
Yeah.
rumor that's happening.
Jimmy, what is your guess?
I guessed it was going to be something with charters. That's all I figured they would do some type of announcement to maybe try to lure a couple more people out onto the road. Not that they're losing at all to the Outlaws, but because they're pretty even. I think the Outlaws might have one or two more, but who knows how many of them are going to last all season. But maybe that would be just kind of an announcement to see if they could pull one or two more out that are going to go out to Vegas. Some of these true outlaw types that are going to go out to Vegas, and maybe they hear this announcement. They're like, maybe I just followed this tour around now. We had a good first 2 nights, something like that. Who knows? I'm excited to see what it is. I don't know. I'm not expecting anything to blow my mind, though.
I'm going to stick to the playoffs thing.
Hold on a
It's
second.
wrong.
Uh-oh. Breaking news.
Playoffs for high limit, boys. Lock it
No,
in.
I can't get the link to work, but somebody put in our chat about Travis Pastrana and a sprint car.
No way.
I mean, I can absolutely see that.
I don't see that at all.
No, look.
Travis Pastrana in a sprint car would be the most Travis.
Nah, he's trying to get me going like like Dale Jr. He's trying to get me going.
No, look in our. Hold on a second.
I don't see it in the chat.
In Facebook.
I would see it here.
The one I'm not in. So,
oh, okay.
I could absolutely see Travis Pastrana driving a sprint car. It's like the most Travis Pastrana thing ever. Other than flying out of an airplane in a sprint car.
Cheap Waffles.
No.
Cheap Waffle says Caleb Montgomery going to Vegas. Expect a lot of Cali guys likely going. But there is the Placerville opener on Saturday.
Oh yeah, right there. Tyler Shell in our chat. Travis Pastrana and sprint cars. Did I miss it, or is everyone finding out? He said he knew 3 weeks ago, and it's going to be in a silver car.
Oh, get it? No. I'll believe it when I see it.
Travis Pastrana silver car. That's got to be that 57 Junior, right? That goes out
Maybe.
California stuff.
That would be. He did run a modified a couple of years ago, so I mean, maybe.
He also ran a NASCAR, so.
There, Ridge Suns Racing. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Sounds like Travis Pastrana's going to Vegas, boys.
That was 41 minutes ago. Number 199.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely Pastrana.
That's definitely a Pastrana car, boys. Saddle up,
you don't
laddies.
put 199 for no reason. That's Travis Pastrana. That's more Travis Pastrana than saying Travis Pastrana.
That is literally his signature.
That's
so
goated. He doesn't sign his name. He just puts his card number down.
Well, there you go. And I don't think that's even the announcement made. Maybe it is. I can't imagine they're
trying to run
a local media member here in PA is flying to Vegas for this extra announcement that is not the charter. There's something else. I don't know. I can't imagine it's that. There's something else. So I'm a fan. I'm excited to find out.
I just hope Travis Pastrana launches his dirt bike from somewhere in Vegas into the racetrack, into the race car.
I don't know if he does that anymore. He kind of stays on the ground a little bit.
Probably smart.
And listen, he's really
He's
good
Mr.
rally car racer. So I
He's an
mean,
animal, dude.
I know it's a little bit different, but I mean, at least he has a lot of other dirt experience where I could see him.
I'm
I'm
entertained.
not saying he's gonna go compete or anything,
He's
but
gonna win the.
he's gonna be not all over the place.
Nah, he'll
I'm
be
here
cool.
for all
That's
of it.
cool.
Yeah, I'm here for
I'm
it.
here for all of it.
Then Friday, World of Outlaws go to Kennedale Speedway Park in Texas. Catch that on Dirt Vision. I think that's 2 nights there. And then also on Friday, and I'm gonna go back here real quick. Marie says it's free admission for Port on Friday. Port Royal Short Track Super Series Modified qualifying with the 602 crates as well. 7 p.m., $15 to get in. You could also catch it on Flow Racing. However, Friday morning, if you're available, that is free because it's open practice. Practice not only for the modifieds, but for any division at Port Royal. So sprint cars, late models, whatever. It's their open kind of tune-up day. Early in the morning, I think it's like from 10 to 12. So if you're around on Friday and you want to go check out some cars that are testing out, go there. And if not, it's pretty cheap there. Friday night, it looks like it's gonna be great weather. Uh, they're gonna get a boatload of modifieds there. I know we're not huge modified guys, but you know, check it out.
We're not
Um,
huge modified guys. Let's put it-
I'm considering going. I'm considering going.
it's-
Maybe Saturday. We'll see. Let's get into Saturday. Saturday is jam packed. Now High Limit goes Thursday and Saturday. It's a little bit weird because Friday night is the truck race. At the neighboring asphalt track. So they're going Saturday night. Outlaws are also at Kennedale. Again, 2 nights in a row. And then the Speed Showcase, the Short Track Super Series Speed Showcase from Port Royal Speedway. Get there at 3:00. General admission is $35. $12,000 to win modified race plus. I think is it 6 for the crate, the 602 crate modified. They're gonna have a ton of cars there. This has become a pretty big modified race in the country, not just here. But you get cars from all over. So if you can't catch it, you can't go there. I highly suggest to. It's gonna be a beautiful weekend. We'll get to the weather here in a little bit, but if you're in the area, go check it out. You also have Lincoln 358 Sprint opener along with the 410s. They're going to a 6:00 show. That should be interesting. And then you also got BAPS with their season opener, Super Sportsman, Limited Lates, and Legends. 4 p.m. Only $15 to get in. If you're close to any of these tracks, get on out. It's going to be a beautiful day. Hopefully, it doesn't get too cold at night. And yeah, go catch some racing. It's starting. Look at this schedule here. I mean, this is awesome.
So, a couple things. Before all this, we started at this slide on Thursday in Vegas.
Mhm.
On Wednesday, here in Central PA, I'm showing a high of 59 on Wednesday. BAPS has another test and tune Wednesday
Oh, yeah.
evening, free admission. There might be over 100 cars because the weather's a little better. Saturday they had a test session. It was pretty chilly, but Wednesday, so it's 60 degrees. Free admission. If you've never been to watch that, this might be the test to go to BAPS and check out on Wednesday night. If you got nothing else going on, free to sit there. You can come out and see all the race cars that are about to go race this weekend. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of 305s. There's going to be a lot of 358s. There's going to be a lot of late models. There's going to be a lot of legends. There were 44 cars at 45-degree windy weather on Saturday at BAPS. I expect to see double that this week, Wednesday. So go check that out. And then Saturday, this Lincoln race, okay, that's where I'm going to be. There might be 45 358s there. We might be there till midnight.
I don't
Like,
know if you're going to get that many, but yeah.
have you seen some of the names that are coming into the division that are coming out of the micro ranks and the 305 ranks?
Yeah.
There's like 6, 8, 9 new 358s. They averaged over 30 cars a race last season. There aren't that many guys who left the 358 division and went up to the 410 division and just didn't go back. So there's going to be a lot of race cars unless you don't have your equipment ready. I think it could be 40 of them. There could be 40 358s there. So we'll see. I'm excited for that, but the part that always gets me every year, the first opening weekend of 358s, there's a lot of torn up equipment that goes home. I don't want to see that, but it happens every year, and I hate it, but that's just part of this deal. So if you're a rookie and you're in the 358s, just take your time. There's a long season ahead.
Yeah. I hate the 6 PM start time. I got to
I
admit.
hate it. I hate
At this
everything
point in
about
the
it.
year, and I understand after what we just saw on Sunday with the sun and the wind, why you want to go to later in the day. But I like what Port and Baps do. 3, 4 o'clock. I think that's a perfect time for this time of year to be, even if you push hot motor heat at 3 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like later in the day. It is going to be warmer, but I mean, once that sun does go down around 7:30, man, it's going to be cold.
I'm
So
looking.
And 7:30 comes quick when you have these two divisions. They all
yes,
need to be pushed off. You got cars that won't run. You got this and that going on, and everything gets slowed down, and you don't really get going, and it's already dark. It gets
So
miserable cold this time of the year.
hmm
I hate this start. I hate it, hate it, hate it.
the good news is 67 is the high on Saturday. The low's only 57 degrees
Correct.
at
Sunday's
nighttime.
the day that's going to be
The
not great.
problem is there
Rainy.
is a 70% chance of rain at
Yeah.
night. I don't know what time that starts, so Lincoln might be up against the clock leading into Sunday.
right. Yeah, I would say what I'm saying is kind of maybe keep an eye out because maybe Lincoln bumps up, and I think that might be this. I don't know. Who knows? We'll
I wish
see.
they would permanently, but I agree with you. If they
I know.
see
Yeah,
weather, they're going to start this a little sooner, and I think
yeah.
they should every week. That we should go another 3 weeks
I,
with like 4 o'clock starts.
you should not be doing anything later. You should be wrapping up by 7:30
Yep.
until April, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you never
And I
know.
wish
You never. I'd rather schedule it earlier, and then if it is a really warm day out, push it back
you could.
rather
I don't even
than
think. I
have
don't
to
even
worry
think that.
about the. You know.
That's a rare occurrence that we get 70 plus degrees on a Saturday until May. Like I've been at the outlaw races in May where I'm sitting out there in a jacket on. Like
Right,
where
but I'm just
yeah,
just
we've had
look at
warm weather.
Sunday though, where it's still 50 but windy, sunny,
Yeah,
and you're getting bad track conditions. So I understand both sides. I'm just saying.
sure. I'm with you. But look at Williams Grove. We're gonna have Sunday, which will probably get rained out. The
Yes,
next week,
we're gonna
7:30
go.
on a Friday night. Like, like it's miserable cold.
Yeah, Sunday, 410 opener, 410s only. I love this day show. I wish Williams Grove would have done more day shows, but they only
I
have this
know.
one, and 2 p.m. start time on a Sunday. $20 to get in. If not, catch it on Dirt Vision. Hopefully, it gets in. Because let's take a look at your official Turn Two Terribles weather forecast. I'm hoping you guys are liking this. So Friday, it's looking 66 degrees. During the day, partly cloudy, 41. Friday looks phenomenal. Saturday looks great. It's going to be a little bit cloudier on Saturday, but still 65 degrees, a low of 55. Sunday, 75% chance of rain, 64 degrees, low of 45, but showers. And it looks like it's going to shower from like pretty much from Sunday till Thursday next week. The way the forecast that looks now, but listen, that's a way far away. Um, but yeah, that's your forecast. I'm hoping we get Williams Grove in. Maybe this rain holds off, but I think if there's any threat of rain, they'll probably axe it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to change a few times throughout the week, but there's rain coming. It's just when and where. I was even concerned about Saturday, like as of yesterday, but Saturday looks a lot better all the way through the night. Like Saturday looks pretty good regardless. I was concerned as the night went on
Yeah,
and when this kind of gets here, that looks better. So I still don't have any hopes for Williams Grove on Sunday because the rain can keep backing itself up, but it's going to rain at some point during that event's scheduled time.
yeah.
So I hate it for them because I love that
I
show.
love that.
I love
Me
that
too.
Sunday show.
I've been
One of my
going every
favorites, no
year.
matter how
Yeah,
bad it was last year, and there were
I st-
circumstances way beyond their control last year. But that was still to me, it was like I know the drivers hated it and a lot of people hated it sitting in the stands, but I was like, this is wildly cool. Like this is it's dumb, it's awful for them, but it was really wild to see. I've never been a part of anything like that last year. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but either way, I love this show. It's always cold and windy that day. Like I think every year I've gone to it, it's been like sunny, windy, and like crappy track conditions. Like just because it just seems like it all goes together for that race. But I'm hopeful we get it in, but it doesn't look good.
Like, you talk about crappy track. Shit, I remember going there as a kid. NASCAR was still at Rockingham. And we're wearing bibs, the wind's blowing. Our buddy lost $20, got sucked underneath the souvenir stand. Wild. Think about that, Rockingham. I don't even know what year it was. It had to be last race.
Early 2000s.
Last race there was 2004. I'm trying to think of who won that day. I have no idea.
Who knows?
But it was
they used to
definitely
race
like
Rocking-
2000, 2001. It was like the second race. Like,
I remember that
wow.
race got snowed out one year. Do you remember that? Like like
Yeah.
when we were
Yeah.
kids, it got snow down there. It's crazy.
Marie says, hour and a half ride, 75% rain. I will not be making a trip to the Grove. And I'm in the same boat. But here's the nice thing that I think this is something that Jay-Z has been alluding to, and I agree with. I don't think you're going to have to make that call. I don't think it's going to be.
You're going to call that shit on Friday.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you're going to have to wake up Sunday morning very often or the morning of a race and be like, am I going to make this trip?
Yes,
I
Tyler, I know who won 2004. That's the race I was talking about.
I think you're going to know. So I would expect either by late Saturday or early Sunday morning before you're even thinking about pulling out of the driveway, if you were going to go, that they would cancel. So and I think that's good. I think that's a good thing overall for everybody because
I think you're going to see that more and more this year.
Yeah.
There will be exceptions. There's going to be days where there's thunderstorms and like where it hit,
thunderstorms. Yeah,
but for the most part, I think you're from all these racetracks, you're going to have ample notice that they're racing or not. So, or at least going to attempt and say, we're going to wait it out till tomorrow. We'll let y'all know, or you're going to know. So there will be less and less times where people are going to bitch and moan. I was on my way and they canceled. You won't
You're
have
lying.
that problem.
Like that time I went to that All-Star race at Williams Grove.
It's going to happen less and less.
And they canceled.
Right. It'll happen less. It's going to happen, but it'll happen less and less as years go on. And then everybody can bitch for a whole 24 hours ahead of time.
Yeah.
Not the 3 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
I disagree with the part you said people are going to bitch less. I should listen to the rest of your sentence.
Oh, I didn't say they're going to bitch less.
Yeah, right. I
overreacted.
I'm sorry.
Let's get to some comments here. Dave Scott Smeltzer says the 11 Haas car is going to be out racing this weekend.
So, do you all know who this is and what this means?
No.
Corey Haas's son.
That makes sense.
Okay.
In a 410, testing a 410. Started testing late last year. Going to be out do some more testing here before they jump into some racing. Young guy, never really raced anything before, and he's in a 410. So Corey has kind of hung up the helmet, that sounds like, and his son is preparing to make a 410 debut, hopefully sometime later this year. So we'll see.
That's
Should be out testing in the 410 on Wednesday.
Caleb Hertzler. For what it's worth, I personally asked Travis Pastrana if he would ever drive a sprint car about a month and a half ago, and he said he was scared of them. Not sure if he was joking. So
has to be because that dude jumps out of airplanes.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, sprint cars are pretty badass, though. I guess we're gonna find out.
We will find out.
Alex Robinson, announcer of the All-Star Circuit of Champions this year. He keeps T-minus 32 days. We got you. Keep an eye out on that. There's rain in the forecast in Vegas on Thursday. How
of course
about
there
that
is. NASCAR's there.
He's actually living out in Vegas right now until he comes back to do the All-Stars. So he's our eyes on the ground there. Tyler says, I wouldn't be surprised if the start time at Lincoln gets bumped up, and I could see that as well. Steph says Sunday already hates us. Randy says, hope to see Cisney pick up a ride. He's a good driver and wants to race. We haven't heard anything on that front. I'm hoping we hear something here at some point.
Well, there was an article, Jeremy Elliott, SprintCarUnlimited.com, just put an article out this past week on Cisney. You had an interview with him, just waiting for opportunities and resources to come together. So if you haven't checked that out, subscribe to Jeremy Elliott stuff. It's
Yes.
cheap.
Yeah.
Just subscribe and read the damn thing. It's worth your time. It's very much worth your money, and it's not even that much. You all pay for a lot of channels you don't watch on your damn TV, and you're going to bitch about an $18 a year thing to
Yeah.
Jeremy Elliott stuff. Just
And I
get
can
it
promise
and
you,
read it.
he knows what we're talking about, but even better, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, we're idiots. He actually knows things.
Steph says people complain if they cancel early, cancel later, don't cancel at all. Poor tracks can't win. Yeah,
Facts.
and that's
That's my favorite. We're at the racetrack, but we're going to bitch about it.
yeah,
Like,
and I think that's more the narrative. Me personally, I want to push, is just kind of these trucks are in a tough decision. And that's not I'm not trying to kiss up the tracks or anything, but as we have done this podcast more and we have started making more connections with different people in the industry, start seeing more all different aspects, and that's what we try to bring to you guys a little bit. Not that we're like experts or anything, but just kind of what we see. And I do sympathize with tracks on some of these things, and I know I've been rough with them at points. But we're still going to be critical when maybe they should have ran. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens this week. I think it's just anything before May here, in my opinion, or at least the end of April, is if you get whatever races you do get in is a bonus.
I mean, I think really you start getting to like Wednesday, Thursday of a race weekend, and the forecast is calling for 70% or more chance of rain. Writing on the wall, buddy. Like, why are we waiting until Saturday or Friday or Sunday to
Yeah.
cancel? Like, we
Yeah,
know.
and I think
Everyone knows. Like, let's
I
just
think the tracks around here
do
have
the
gotten
thing.
much better with that for sure.
And we're
I think they're going to
again
continue that trend.
to Jay-Z's point. We're not talking about the thunderstorms where it's like a random ass storm hits the track. You can't control that.
Mhm.
We're talking like when it's forecasted rain, you're gonna get rain. Don't make us wait till Saturday morning. Hey, sorry, we're not racing today. No shit. We knew that on Wednesday.
Right. Matt Bird says Chase Gutshaw 358 looks badass this year. You have to check that out. Let's get to before we do drink it and dump it. We want to give a shout out to our friends over at Vertical for Life for supporting the channel. Love what they do over there. This Friday, also something to do if you're not going to the races on Friday night at Port Royal. Dillsburg, South Mountain VFW from 6 to 10 p.m. You got AJ Cassat and the Colin Alvarez Band from 6 to 10 p.m. Their St. Patrick's Day party, Vertical for Life, presented by the South Mountain VFW and Metal AF. Food and drink specials, 50-50 to benefit Vertical for Life. Open to everybody. Veterans are free, and it's a $5 cover if you're not a member of the VFW. So go have a good time. Go drink some green beer. Listen to some good music. Support a good cause. And check it out. So,
Jimmy,
yes.
see, can you put Marie's comment on the screen there about Gravel's interview? Marie, how dare you cheat on us and watch another podcast? Not acceptable, Marie. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Gravel's a pretty good interview, actually. He's a pretty thoughtful guy. Like, watching his show a couple times. But I'm sure that's pretty good. He's talk about Christopher Bell. Between Gravel and Bell, two best drivers in the country in any discipline right now. So agreed for sure. But anyway, I wanted to pick on Marie for a second there. Appreciate you, Marie.
Let's get to drink it and dump it before we get out of here. We thank everybody for tuning in and checking us out and hanging out with us. Aunt Bay says hi, Chris. Hi, Aunt.
Come back.
Give us your drink it and dump it in the chat. I'm gonna go first because I actually wrote mine down. I was sitting here watching Flo, writing all this stuff down. I have a lot of notes from yesterday. I'm gonna drink it to Zach Hampton and Chris Wyndham. We already talked about them a little bit, but really impressive weekends from both of them, and really impressive start of the season to Chris Wyndham especially. And I think you're starting to see that with Zach Hampton a little bit. Great run for him Saturday. It's good to see those cars get in the mix. They're gonna have they're rookies still, full time tour. They're gonna have ups and downs, but I think it's impressive when they do have these ups. It's as good as they have up in the top 10 here. I'm gonna dump it to our buddy Seth Dietrich because I saw on
You, buddy.
Facebook
God damn it.
putting dish soap in the dishwasher instead of dishwasher detergent.
All right. I'm going to defend Seth here. He's my buddy. He had a good point. It's hard to argue with. To his defense, it did say dish soap on the bottle. That's all he told me. And then he went
Come
to
on,
bed.
man. Come
He
on,
went to
man.
bed.
You gotta
he went
know
to bed.
better. Gotta
and
know
then his
better.
phone started buzzing. He got excited. His phone was going off for once. He actually had people who want to talk to him. And then he saw it was his family chat. And he goes, "Oh no!" And then he said, "Come downstairs." He goes, "Oh no." I'll defend Seth here. This isn't Seth's fault.
No,
all right?
I can't. I can't
It's
defend
Billy's
him.
fault.
I can't
It's Billy's
define-
fault.
I can't.
Should have
defend
raised
him.
him better. Don't put. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, I
Yep.
mean,
I went
hey.
there. I went there. Seth didn't know any better.
Well, he should.
I'm trying, Seth. Love you, buddy.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
All right, I'll go. This is. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't care what people think about it. I'm going to drink it to the Stamen team because this is not just another good run, but consistency. Right? We've seen the runs. We've seen the potential. We've seen it there, and for all intents and purposes, it's another new team. Right? Like ownership, number, all that they own it. Right? But they brought all these people together with all these kind of things going on, and you come out of the box and Chase looks, the momentum he had as a driver just stayed right there. And I know that was a concern of his and a fear of his, like, yeah, I'm going so good in my stuff, I don't want to change it. So I'm going to drink it to them for the start that they've had. I debated between, like, Danny, you got to win. We saw that last week, so I could do both, but I don't know. I feel really encouraged. I know that they're thrilled about it. So I'll drink it to that. Dump it, man. I don't know. Like Jacob, that sucks. You come out in this race, you don't have to do. You have a long trip across the country coming. Maybe you were prepared in case this happened, but now that sucks. I guess I think I'll just take Jacob on that one and leave Chris to whatever else is out there. I'm sure there's more creative ones than that, but they're just the low hanging fruit to me.
There's
I'll
one.
go with those.
So drink it. I don't actually. I mean, Deets, the Stamen team. That's a good one. Looking impressive. I'm not going to take that. So I'll start with dump it. Dump it to Justin Whittle, dude. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're running. What are you running for? Running for nothing. You've already spun. Your day's not ideal.
You took
a bad situation and made it worse by flipping for no good reason. I don't think he got contact. I didn't see it. Sounds like he just jumped the cushion, hit the wall, and flipped for no good reason. Come on, man.
It wasn't just a flip. He had 3 yellows. He had one in the yellow,
I understand that.
One in the heat. He spun in the feature and then he flips at the end of the feature.
Right.
So rough Sunday for him.
I'm saying is but 2 of those weren't expensive. One of them was
And
very.
2 weeks ago, he spun and Lucas Wolf flipped over 2 weeks ago.
Lucas Wolf's had a terrible year too. Dumb out to him too. Like 2 races, 2 destroyed wings at least. Lucas Wolf's wing came past me. His car did after he spun, and Freddie and Brandon Raymer and that whole deal. That's tough. But like, if you're Justin Whittle, you're running. You know your situation, and I want to give props to. I was obviously with Dakota, and the Give It War Rig team. Jordan had nowhere to go, so he just pulled off. Yes, he spun. Yes, he made a mistake, spun. But he protected the race car. No damage, no harm, no foul. Took his deal. So I guess I would drink it to Jordan Givler using his brain, unlike Justin Whittle there. Like I'll take the easy way out there. Like, your role. You had a bad day. You made a mistake. You got lapped, pulled off, kept the car ready to race for another day. Justin Whittle just goes and straight up junks it for no good reason. That's crazy.
It's a little harsh, man.
I don't care.
Why are you so angry and mean all the time, bro?
Because you made me this way, Jay-Z. You did.
All right, let's get to some of the fan drinking and dump it. Randy says drink at the DD and dump at the Jacob Allen. Steph says drink at the DD's win and dump at the Freddie and Jacob's Rex. Only race I got to see this weekend. Tyler Koenig, drink at Danny winning. 358 opener this weekend and Northeast modified season opening. Better watch the 89 this Saturday. Dump it. Little Freddie's horrible luck to start the year. Aunt Bay, big time dump at the Will for getting pulled over in Abbottstown Sunday, then actually dumping the sprint car. That adds insult to injury. He had a really bad Sunday. Dave says, drink at the Danny on the win, and drink at the Chase Dietz and the Stamen Motorsports team. Dump for Jacob Allen. Dakota, yes, you are allowed to use the camper pisser. Always. Marie says, drink at the Gravel and Dietz. Jared says, drink at the Baylog. That's a big one. I was thinking that in the back of my head too. He should have been one to drink it too. That's a huge win for him in that whole program. Mandy says, drink it. DD and Baylog. 69K at Vegas for high limit. And any other possible NASCAR driver entries. Cole Macedo. Dump at the Jacob Allen and everyone else involved in the wrecks at Lincoln, Lucas Wolf, while they're still being sucky. Also, Ant says, drink at the Big Game Motorsports team. They're proving that last year wasn't a fluke, and the whole Brad Sweet not being around isn't why they're winning. They're winning because they are those guys right now. That's great. I love that comment. Absolutely. Something with David Gravel was he would fall into a lull in certain points, and that's why he couldn't never get past Brad Sweet, because Brad Sweet would just never have that lull. For how he's starting off this season, man. Even if he does have a lull, I don't know if anybody's going to catch him if he just stays on this pace. It's insane. Because a lull for him is going to be 5th place.
Yeah, I mean that would be a
deserves
night where they're like, "What did we do wrong?" Right?
Yeah,
like they
yeah,
run
exactly.
fifth, they're gonna be like, "Damn, we missed it." And that's how good time trials. They're so good in time trials right now, and it sets up their whole night to the point that people are starting to bitch about the outlaw format. He's dominating already so much that there's already people going, "This is a shitty format." The guy with the fastest car starts up front all night. Yeah, because he earned it. Oh my god, if your favorite driver was that guy, you wouldn't be bitching about the format. I can assure you that.
Yeah, for sure. Marie says, dump it to the Raymer boys. Jared also says, dump it to the mayor for not having a ride. I agree. I hope he does pull something together soon. Austin says, dump it to Chris for being too good to camp at the Camp DJ and bring the tent, put the number on the door. Dakota says, dump it to JG Jordan Givler. Aunt Bay also says, dump it to Chris for having a shitty attitude tonight. I agree. Daniel Lee, drink it to Aaron Bollinger. The wins will come for him. Dump it to Whittle and Freddie Raymer. Patience, not panicking yet. Long season ahead. We're 2 races in. There's no reason to panic. There's so many races left to go. Plenty of them more to get rained out or whatever. We race till November. So
Yeah, but Jimmy, we're here to sell clicks. We're here to sell
yes,
views.
start
It is
panicking now. We got to make the
over.
YouTube. We got to make like the YouTube thumbnail where we're all like,
Yeah, I'm panicking.
and we're all panicking.
Week 2 overreactions, baby.
Maybe
Chase
that'll make
Dietz
you
is
guys
winning.
click.
Chase is winning 50 races, and Freddie's going to wreck 50
Dude.
times.
I'm not gonna lie. When Chase took the lead there, I'm like, ha! Took the over. Fuck you, Jeremy.
Sheep says, dump it to Sanders spinning off a lap car fighting for the lead. I did not see any of that. That's too late for my.
Yeah, he got a lot of shit for that one. That was a tough deal there, but that's West Coast stuff. That's like,
This is the best drink it and dump it. And it's our good buddy George. Drink it to Chris, dump it to Chris so he can drink some more.
I had a water, George.
And then drink it for Stamen, says Sheep Waffle. I'm gonna guess. I wonder if that's
No, don't even bother guessing.
in our Discord. Leith. wonder if that's him. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go out and guess because he's a new one, and he said he was watching. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Lots on the schedule this week. Hopefully the weather holds out and we could get everything in. If not, there's Friday,
Something.
Saturday. There's something to do. Again, Port Royal, Friday morning if you're around. Go check out their practice. If not, go check out the modifieds. Friday night, Saturday night. Lincoln, Saturday, 410s and 358 opener, 6 p.m. Go check that out. And then BAPS, if you're around there, you got Super Sportsman, Limited Late Models, and Legends doing their season opener. And then on Sunday, if the weather does look nice enough, we got Williams Grove. One of the best Williams Grove races of the year, honestly, is that season opener. I just love the vibes there on a Sunday afternoon. Where are we going this weekend, Tyler?
Before you do that, I have one more dump it. Because you said it in the BAPS thing. Legends, I'm over it. Dude, I warned y'all. Dude, I'm in the pit. I couldn't take the humming anymore. I couldn't take the buzzing. And they had a red flag. There was Legends going all different directions with wheels pointing off in all different directions. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm leaving. I'm driving home.
Listen, there was a red flag at the end, so it could stop every car to check whose bumper was loose
That's
to
what
give
I'm
them a
saying.
black flag.
I'm glad
They
I
had the
wasn't
red
there for
flag
that.
and stop them. It was tough. It was a great finish, though. I got to be honest. First time winner. The son, he's 17, 16, 17.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Dad
Young
finished, what,
kid.
third?
And dad was second or third, and it was a great finish at the end. One of the best in the division was coming at the end there, and great finish. Just took a while to get there.
I'm sorry, Babs, I can't do it.
Where are we going this weekend? Where are you guys going this weekend?
Sunday,
I know
Williams
JZ,
Grove.
you're Sunday Williams Grove. JZ, I know you're doing Lincoln Williams Grove.
Yeah, well, potentially a little bit of BAPS practice before I have to get back home here. So I might get there early as if I can get the schedule works out and get there right about they start. See
That's on Wednesday.
See a few sessions on Wednesday. Lincoln Saturday, and Williams Grove Sunday would be the plan.
Yep.
Yeah, my Wednesday's kind of free. Maybe I'll go to BAPS too.
You got free time. You're
Maybe I'll take the little one. She's been dying to go to a race. It hasn't worked out. We were gonna go to Lincoln last weekend, and obviously we got canceled. And I didn't have her this weekend, but maybe I'll take her to Wednesday night just because Wednesday night's free.
Go check it out. Grab some dinner. Get some hot dogs from the Dottie's Food Shack. That'll probably be open, and see some race cars run around for a while. It'll be fun.
For me, Sunday, for sure, if it happens, I'll be at Williams Grove. Thinking about doing Port Friday and Saturday, just because I got a camper this past weekend. Oh, I love modifieds. I love modifieds so much, but I am intrigued. I did get a camper this past weekend, and finding out a lot of campsites are not open yet. You can't go camp anywhere. They're all closed still. I'm still kind of iffy on de-winterizing it, but there is camping at Port Royal this weekend. So go somewhere where I'm going to be camping out a lot of the season. Go watch some race cars. It's on the table. Maybe I go to Lincoln Saturday night. I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely want to try to catch something this weekend if I can. Tyler says he's going Port on Friday, Lincoln on Saturday, and Grove on Sunday. The trifecta. So
saw him in the pit stands. He was hype for Friday night, and then he saw the weather, and we're like, no.
So excited to watch modifieds qualify on a Friday. Like this guy, man.
Tyler, if anyone can convert Jimmy, you could do it, buddy. He's all yours. You can have him.
I was thinking about Friday. If the world was ending Saturday, I would maybe go watch modifieds qualify. The short track super series at a half mile, I might go have that happen if I knew the world was ending Saturday.
I would probably just bring up YouTube and watch something cool from TNN back in the day. Call it deal.
That would get me there, though. I'm just saying.
3/4 of the reason I would go to Port. Well, let me go this way. Half the reason I would go to Port is because I want to camp, bring the dog, hang out. Another quarter of the reason is just because I fucking love Port Royal. I love just going there and just being there, no matter what's racing. And then a quarter of the reason is just it's racing. I don't hate modifieds, and they put on a decent show there, but it's the very last on the list is because of the modified.
No,
Port Royal's up higher.
The 3/4 reason he's going because they have 3/4 fenders. Like stop it. Like, get out of here. Done.
Lincoln. Austin says Lincoln Saturday, Grove Sunday. Both excited. Starting to get photos for the 2025 season.
No, George. Every lap matters.
One real quick thing, Alex Robbins pointed out, and he put the picture in our Discord, is Austin Bacaro is in Vegas. And the only reason I bring this up, I'm not really surprised he's there, but with the charter announcement, he is somebody that I was talking about before where like, hey, maybe if the charter announcement, if it's the charter announcement, if that's what it is, I'm not saying it is for sure. But if they announce something on the charters where it's more lucrative for people to join, he is somebody I could see joining that tour. Just saying. And Amanda says, I'm ready for the Sealands Grove opener in a couple weeks. Me too. I can't wait. A lot of racing on the horizon. Hopefully the weather holds out. I'm excited. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week. Maybe we'll have a guest. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully we have a lot of racing to talk about regardless. Hopefully we get all this that's on the schedule in.